Welcome to Chapters, everyone. Thank you all for joining in on this discussion of picking up the pieces to 100 Broken Promises. I am Yushima Cherry Burks, your host and the author of said book. Every Sunday for the next 9 weeks, we will be discussing one chapter of my book. If you haven't tuned in to chapters 1 and 2, the link will be below. Please check it out after you watch this one. Okay, panels, I want you to introduce yourselves and tell us what you do.
Hi, I'm Shunketta. I am an AR specialist. Unfortunately, I'm not talented like these other young ladies on this panel. Or should I say, I haven't found my craft yet. I'll say that. I haven't found my craft yet. But yeah, so that's what I do.
You can absolutely be an interior designer or a stylist.
Yeah, I could.
Absolutely.
I
You
could.
can
I could.
absolutely do that. You can absolutely make yourself a line of bedding, towels, any home decor, pillows. I don't know what you're talking about. You just need to tap into that, tap inward.
Yeah, yeah. I just said I
Okay.
haven't tapped into it.
So down and tap and pull it on. I
Right.
don't know what you got to do with it, but you get it.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Sean. Thanks for being here.
I'm Chanel Wesley, and I'm the author. I'm working on being published. I'm with CC's Inc., and I'm very excited about that. And I'm so thankful for the opportunity to be with you, Yushima, today, and these lovely panelists.
Yes. Thank you so much. And I am ready for your book. Thank you so much.
We all are. I'm
Yes.
Nubian Star. I'm an artist, a writer, overall creative. Thank you so much to my beautiful sister Yushima, and thank you for allowing me to be amongst these mogul great women.
Yes, absolutely. I'm so glad you could all make it today. Thank you, sis, and Chanel and Sean for being here today. Without further ado, let's get started. Today, we will be discussing Chapter 3. The titles for Chapter 3 are Inconsiderate Yushima, Mighty Misha, Spent in Sprints, A Way of Escape, and The Wrong Medicine for Heartbreak. Chapter 3 opens up with me learning that I am a trash roommate. I've been on my own since I was 17 years old, so I wasn't used to staying with anyone. So I was inconsiderate. I mean, I wasn't necessarily openly rude, but just the things I was doing were very inconsiderate for my roommate. Her name is Stephanie in the book, and she is actually here with us today. Stephanie is actually Shunketta. So she had the pleasure of all dealing with all of my foolishness. And she has since forgiven me. As you can see, the beautiful face here, she's here with us today. But we also did a video together with her book club. So I'll put the link down below about that. And we had a blast for that. So I want to thank you again, Sean, for
You're
being
welcome.
with us. And did you just want to talk about, before I ask the panelists my question, did you just want to talk about your experience with Inconsiderate Yushima?
Well, it was an experience for us both because I had never had a roommate before I left home, and then I got married.
Mhm.
So this was my first experience, and I kind of felt like I missed out.
Yeah.
You didn't have that roommate or whatever. And also, I looked at Yushima as like a little sister because she's the age of my
Mhm.
youngest sister. So we used to work together and we just clicked. It just seemed like we had so much in common. We were single. I'm newly single, you
Mhm.
know, with a child. She, had, um, um, um,
AJ.
yeah, had her. And so we just, just clicked. Everything was good. We moved in together. Well, I said, going to look for me an apartment. She said, I'm going with you. We
Yeah.
gonna move in
Here
together.
we go.
It wasn't an act. She was like, we moving in together. I was like, okay, like I said, I never had that experience before, right? And so everything was good. My stuff was in storage. So we had her table, her couch, and everything. So I had to get myself a bed. And so Yushima didn't clean up the house. She cleaned up her room, but she didn't clean up the house.
I don't remember that, but go ahead.
uh so we shared everything. I didn't have a problem with us, sharing stuff. But this one time, I don't know if she remembered this, but this one time she had called me at work and she said, "What you cooking tonight?" I said, "I'm making lasagna." She was like, "Oh, I'm gonna get the cheese." I told her I had to go to the store anyway. I said, "Well, I gotta go to the store and get the stuff." She's like, "No, I'll get the cheese." I said, "Oh, okay." So I didn't cleaned up, cook. I'm ready. I got my meat sauce all together and stuff. I'm ready for the cheese, right? She comes in from the shop, got her hair done, and I was like, "You got the cheese?"
That ain't
And
cheese.
she was like, "Oh no, I thought you got it." What? So, so she was like, "Well, I'll go get it once I go pick up my friend." And I'm like, "Okay." I'm thinking it's like a few minutes. No, she in her room cleaning up. I'm like, "You want to get the cheese?" She was like, "I'm gonna go when I go pick up." I'm like, "When is that?" "Well, he gotta call me when he get off." I'm like, so I left and went to the store to go get the cheese. So I'm on fire inside, right? I'm on fire. So I come back to the house. I make the lasagna, right? And she gets a piece of it. I'm on fire.
And no social cues. I did not pick up on people being angry with me. And I was like,
God.
"This is delicious. Thank you."
She did. Another one of her friends was over at the house because I used to take her daughter and her friend to school in the morning on my way to work. I took the whole lasagna and brought it to my mama's house.
That's what happened to that.
So she called me. She called me and she was like,
Who
"What
went?
happened to the lasagna?" I said, "I took it to my mama." "You took the whole lasagna?" I said, "I did." "Why you do that?" I said, "Because." So I
Oh
told
my
her what happened. And so she was like, "We share everything right here." And I'm thinking, I was like, I was that mad because I'm like, "Dude, you holding me up.
Yeah.
I have to be at work at like 8, here it is like 9, lasagna, because I don't pre-cook my
Noodles.
lasagna noodles. So
Yeah.
that's gonna take like an hour and something. Now I gotta be up because I don't want it to burn. I'm like, you know, but yeah, but it was fun. It was an experience. She was my only roommate. She was my only roommate. Um
Oh my.
and but even yeah, I looked at it as growing pains because she was still young,
Mhm.
and here I am. I'm older than her, and I'm more of a support system than a roommate to her because she didn't look at me as being a roommate,
Mm-mm.
you know.
You were my
So
older sister, and she was supposed to do that. Like you supposed, like, where's my
yeah,
husband? Like, you know what I'm saying?
right,
For me,
right.
it was just like but I not ever being in that situation, I had no idea of the impact. Even something as simple as forgetting to get the cheese. And had you been like, if you don't go get this cheese right now, I'd be like, I'll be right back. But you were so cool and so calm. I didn't know the impact I didn't know how all of those pieces behind the scenes were adding up the spot. I didn't get it. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
the title is true. Anything else you want to share and embarrass me in front of the world?
No, I mean you talked about what's his name in the book? What's his name in the book?
Um,
I'm gonna just call him R.
R.
Uh
Dude.
yeah, like I didn't care for him,
Yeah, neither did my
but
dad. He called him a Casanova.
who? Your daddy? Huh?
that my mother's husband Tom.
Yeah.
He was like, I heard him more. He's a Casanova. I was like, first of all, what is that? He used old school word. He was like, he's a Casanova. I was like, okay, is that a good thing or a bad thing? Apparently, it was going here. So
Yeah, I didn't like him, but I tolerated him because she liked him. You know, the only thing that I told her about him was that he was clingy. You know, a man to come in the house with four, two adult women and two, small children. He was there every day.
all the
I'm
time.
like all the time.
Yeah,
All the time.
all the time.
And so I felt like I didn't see it as being I I didn't look at it as being inconsiderate. I just thought like she just loved this guy so much, like, and he was there. So I wasn't even looking at her. I was looking more so at him because you are a grown man, and if you want to spend time with her like that, then how come how come y'all didn't get your own place? You know, so again, I wasn't looking at her. I was looking at him because I'm looking at the man. And yeah, so he was there all the
All the
time.
time.
And this is the one thing I told her. I said he is clingy because at the time he had 3 kids and they were by 3 different women. And I told him, I said for him, and I think they were like maybe 1-2 years apart. Like it wasn't far. Like it wasn't no, like she 5, she 10, she 15. They were close in age. I was like, that lets me know that he gets in relationship,
He gets
gets
out.
them pregnant, and he leaves. Or so he is not good for you on that aspect. Maybe he good to have some fun with, but as a serious person, I don't see it. I don't see it, so.
And you know what I heard? Be
Girl.
with him, don't get pregnant. That's all I heard from that. Like, okay, so don't get pregnant. Okay. I didn't, because I was in my 20s. I was in my early 20s, and he was like 32. He was like 32. So I was like smitten by this older guy who had the job at Harley Davidson. He was whatever I wanted. It was like there at my, at my beckoning, and I was just smitten. It was just, I was young and I was dumb. And again, having those missing parts of myself, he fulfilled some of those needs, and I felt good when I was around him until, right, that mask comes off and you start to really see who these people are. So I feel like it was inconsiderate because when you have a roommate or even children, I wouldn't want no guy coming in and out my house or being in my house every day when I get off work. And I didn't notice that until I was older again, right? And I just enjoyed the peace and the solitude of being at home alone. So that's when I was like, man, that was so rude for me to have company every day at the house with Sean. Like, I would have cussed me out. I would have cussed me out. You understand? And so thank you for being so kind. Thank you for not cussing me out, but I probably would have learned sooner. So I do put some blame on you fully. Moving on.
I also think that you wanted a family, and you saw that in him. You saw that he had children. I don't know how he was with his kids.
Yeah, he had them.
Yeah. So, and you probably was like, oh, great father, and stuff like that. So I think that was probably one of the reasons why you even stayed in the relationship for as long as you did.
That's true. Yeah. I didn't want to say that, but thank you for bringing that up. But yeah, that's exactly what I wanted. I did want a family, and I felt like it was my responsibility to provide that stability and father figure for Andrea, and also to just have an experience what it would be like to have someone love me and my daughter simultaneously. You know what I'm saying? So, but if I knew then what I know now, we would have skipped that lesson. So I'm gonna ask you all. Thanks for sharing, Sean. You have such a great memory. What type of roommate do you think you would be in the eyes of someone else? And would you want to be your own roommate? So this is a two-part question. What type of roommate would you be in the eyes of someone else? And would you want to be your own roommate?
I'll jump in on this one.
Okay.
So I definitely think that I would be considered the controlling roommate. I definitely would be like, why you put that there? Why you do that? Why you? So I would probably be a bit annoying. I ain't even gonna lie. Or I would be annoying, and then I would be the recluse because I would be so annoyed by other things that I'd be like, let me just lock myself away.
Right.
Let me just go ahead and move on over here. Because I definitely am the person that likes things a certain type of way. I had a roommate in the past who was a flamboyant, not so organized person, and I lost hair being that person. It kind of fell out because I was like, oh, let me just try to be understanding of our differences. And then I was trying to strongly suggest things that were not, really being
wasn't received.
Understood.
Yeah.
Not really at all. So I would definitely be the little annoyed recluse roommate. Definitely. And with the second part, what did you ask?
Would you want to be your own roommate? If you had a clone of yourself, would you want to be your roommate?
Well, so that's hard because I think if she was like me, we'd be fine, right? I think that we were both, because I think we were both like, oh, I'm not going to do that because that's going to annoy the hell out of her. Or, let me pick up after myself because to me, it's all about like consideration.
Time and courtesy, yes. Something I know.
So that's the part is that I feel like if I was roommates with me, we'd be good.
You'll be fine.
Now, I think we'd be all right. Yeah.
Okay.
We might argue like a little bit, right? Because it'll be like, I got here first, right? I'm in the bathroom first, right?
You're controlling people. You're controlling, so that means you have a controlling roommate. You guys wouldn't necessarily see eye to eye and always want the same things.
This is true. Like I said, it would, but I think that I would be able to have we would have that, we need to talk real quick.
Okay,
right?
Communicate better, yeah. Oh, my earring.
Real. So I don't know, but that's my thoughts. I know I'm controlling now. I'll be honest about that.
That's good. I would not want me as a roommate. Even now, I couldn't. I could not deal with me. So thank you. Even today. Okay.
I guess you're talking about us that fifth age now, or now when we're in now. What
roommate would you be now if you had to have a roommate?
Okay. Well, now I think that I have a level of maturity. It's different when you're used to being in your own space, just you and your kids, or you and your spouse and your children. So it would be an adjustment, I guess, for both me and for that person. I'm pretty cool. I'm pretty even-tempered. I'm a person who holds things in. If something is bothering me, I'm holding it in, but I'm banking it. Like, if I'm not upset, I won't let it out. I'll keep it on mute.
Okay.
But when it piles up to a certain level, then word vomit is gonna come out. Everything that I was holding in, and probably some stuff that I just should not have said anyway, I'm gonna put all that seasoning on it at that point and just give it to it in the raw, and it's gonna be ugly. As much as I am loving and giving, I can have a bad attitude when provoked. So it depends on what type of person, and you're saying living with myself. That would be something, it would be hard. I mean, because like I said, I can be very loving, I can be very giving, very help be a support system. But when I become angered or offended, you know,
That's
I
it.
do like my space at sometimes too, although I can be I am an introvert at some spaces. Sometimes I just want to be by myself. I need that moment to be able to check in and check out. So that's the type of roommate that I would be. And no, I don't think there could be two of me. It would be
Lord, that would be so good to see. Because
my family would be like,
I
no,
don't be wanting to talk to nobody. I just sometimes, like, I talk to my kids, I talk to my husband, but I don't want to put on clothes sometimes. Like, and then if you have a roommate, it's just certain things that you have to adjust. Now, I didn't wear clothes around you, Sean. I'm so sorry. That's another thing. I was always naked.
You were always naked.
You oh, I think everybody who knows me has seen me naked a couple times. Sorry, y'all. Well, it happens. Okay. Sean, we're going to ask you and then move on.
I think I could be my own roommate because it's just so me. This is just me.
Mm-hmm.
My room is my haven, like it's my room.
Mm-hmm. Uh-oh. Is she stuck for y'all? Okay.
Okay. I would not want to be my roommate because it's certain chores that I don't like to do. I don't like to wash clothes. I fold clothes, I wash dishes. I just recently started putting dishes up because we moved the dishes to a lower side of the thing so I could put them up.
That's so cute.
But as far as like cleaning and responsibilities and things like that, not a problem. Mm-hmm. But I wash clothes. That's my thing, you know. Yeah, but I mean, it's because I just feel like it's a chore that's never done. Like it's never complete. You gotta watch something
ever.
And I like a chore that I can see like the finished product. Boom, the living room clean, the tables clean. You know, that the dishes clean. But washing clothes is, I mean, if I have to do it, I have to do it. But you know, luckily I don't have to do it right now. But I think I'm a good roommate. Was that the question? I think I'm a good roommate because I'm considerate of how other people are, you know, and I don't like to argue. So and I think where Yushima and I messed up when we were roommates is that we didn't have that talk.
Yeah.
You know, I think a conversation needs to be had when you got two people who didn't grow up in the same house, or even if we did grow up in the same, because even if you grew up in the same house don't mean that you're
the same. They don't.
Yes. So I think that a conversation would be had if I was ever to have to move in with another person, you know. So yeah.
That's great. And I do know, you would be the most considerate. You just so sweet and just calm all the time that you shouldn't be anybody's roommate because they will eat you alive nowadays. So you just don't even do it. Don't do it. You're too sweet. But absolutely, I agree. Healthy boundaries need to be set up front. And I think we had that talk, right? And now I put everything in writing. Before I do anything with anybody, babysitters get a 14-page manual front and back that they have to sign and initial. Remember I sent you that, like a crazy person. Don't judge me. I've been through a lot. Okay, you read my book. You know what I've been through, right?
Yes.
You know, you need to know what to do. Show me CPR. What's your last high medication? Yeah, what you know how to EpiPen. I needed to know. Have you ever been touched? Have you ever touched anyone? What do you feel about you finna answer this? And that's why I only had one person that could keep my kids because she was the only one that didn't run when I told her about my nanny cam. She was like, that's fine. I don't care. You know, everybody else was like, well, that's weird. I was like, and you're weird. So next, keep going. So the fact that you set those healthy boundaries and you let people know upfront what your expectations are, it gives them an opportunity to make a choice with enough information so they can bow out gracefully, or you have to hold them to the standard that they signed up for. So I do agree. Had I known what the expectations were, because I've been on my own since I was 17, so I was living my life like I was still on my own, and I wasn't, and I don't think it was fair, but thank you. We're moving on now. Thanks for that. Great job, you guys. Okay, so chapter 3 also discusses the time my cousin Misha and Isabel, who was a teenager who was staying with me during this time. Sean, Isabel, who was also Ileen, who we did an interview with. Well, they stole my car, went on a joyride while I was asleep, and totaled my car by hitting a light post. The light post destroyed my little Dodge Neon, my little blue Dodge Neon that I loved so much. It was so adorable. I was livid, but at the same time, I was glad that they were okay. I actually interviewed Isabel to get her side of the story. Of course, she's an adult now. She was only like 14 at the time, or maybe even younger. I don't even know. But that video is on YouTube, and I will link that below. So with that said, have you guys ever had someone close to you steal something from you? And how did you handle it?
So I'm gonna say a friend. So, but it's not a friend. It's someone closer to me than that. Now, anybody that knows me knows that I would give them the shirt off my back.
Mm-hmm.
I am just that person because I have been in situations where I didn't have and I didn't ask.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like, let me come to you. Or when people meet me, they can just tell that I'm just a person like that. Well, anywho. So this person that I know went into my bank account and took some money out. And this is a bank account that I never touched because I was only sending like $25 in there every 2 weeks, right? I never looked at it or whatever. And so, no, I'm not going to tell you that one. I'm not going to tell you that one. No.
Why?
No.
Because I'll figure out who it is. I'll figure out what it was.
I'm not going to tell you that one. But I will tell you, ex-fiance of mine, we decided that we were going to get married, right? So you open up a joint account. Mm-hmm. We opened up a joint checking and a joint savings account. At the bank that I was at, the initial fee was like, the initial deposit was $300, and it had to stay at $300. Otherwise, they charged you. It's like, all right. So each pay period, we will put in $50. Mm-hmm. He put in, I will put in. So that's $200 a month, right?
Right.
Well, he got laid off. And so I'm the only one who was putting the money in. When I saw what he was doing with his money, I stopped. I did it twice. Mm-hmm. And I stopped because I saw he wasn't. So I'm like, I'm not finna be doing this because what I'm not going to do is pay for my own wedding. Right? So we opened this account up it was either spring or summer. My daughter was with her father for that school year. So from 2007 to 2010, she was with him the whole year, and I would get her for the summer. Mm-hmm. So I went to go and visit her for Christmas, and I was gone a whole week. So I never looked at the statement because he and I had a talk. If we take anything out the account, we're going to call the other person and let them know before we do anything. I'm like, okay, cool. I never looked at the statement. January, I looked at the statement and saw it was only like $100 and some in the account. I was livid. Because I'm like, you talked to me, and he took out the money when I was gone to California. Mm. I'm like, I talked to you every single day. You never said, hey, I need $50, I need $40 or what. You never said nothing to me. Y'all, his excuse was he was depositing his unemployment checks, but he was taking more out.
Right.
So if his check was 160, he gonna take out like $200.
Mm-mm.
Y'all, I was so mad. I was crying because I felt like you stealing from me. Like you not even putting in the money for the wedding, but then you want to go in and you want to take money out and didn't even have a conversation with me that you broke the rule that you set.
Right.
Matter of fact, I didn't even sleep in the bed with him. I slept in my daughter's room because I was that angry with him. And he was like, I'm sorry. It's not such a big. I said, it's not such a big deal to you.
Right.
Because it wasn't your money. It wasn't your money.
Yeah.
So,
How
I was
rectify that. Did he rectify? Did he pay you back? Like, what was the?
I closed the account. He never got it up to 300. So they keep charging us. So I just closed it out. I'm like, I'm not getting ready to do this. So
Did it change the way that you viewed him, like moving forward?
Yes.
Yeah.
We together.
That could be one factor of why. I would tell you.
We are not. To me, I lost trust.
Yes.
Trust comes in many shapes and forms and fashion. And on a financial aspect, I can't trust you to do what you say that you gonna do about the financial situation that you set those rules. I didn't set the rules. He did. He came to me and he said that. You can't even follow your own rules. So if I give you a rule, I know you're gonna break it because you can't even follow a rule. So we ain't together. He's still to this day calling. Can we give him the no?
He had to send me $50 a week till he paid me back. My petty be like way up here. I would talk to you once you have, with interest, pay me back in full. Then we can go have lunch that you're paying for, sir.
I can't. I closed the account to the bank. I went to the bank. I said, because he said, oh, I put the money back in there. I went to the bank, asked the girl how much was in there. She was like, $165. I said, transfer that over to my checking account.
And close this one right on now. So you closed the account and your relationship.
Closed the account.
Okay. Thank you for sharing. Anybody else ever had someone close to them steal from them?
Yeah. I had a family member who had an addiction with drug abuse. And first of all, it was very shocking to see this family member's life take that type of path. And although you see a person making mistakes, sometimes you just don't want to see what's in front of your eyes. You have things that are missing. You don't expect it to be them. You want to rationalize, try to make excuses for the things that are happening. But after a while, things just become so apparent that you can no longer give a justification or make an excuse for anything. And I would say initially, since it was like several incidences, at the time, me and my first husband, our car was taken, and it was just, we ended up getting it back. I called him like, hey, you got to bring that back, like right now, type thing, or I'm gonna hurt you, type thing. And initially, it started off as just, conversations about, again, broken trust, disappointment. And then it just grew to a point where I became angry, and I put my hands on him because I felt like at that point he needed a lesson, and it wasn't just a verbal lesson that he needed. So, but it hurt me to do it. And he didn't even try to like to defend himself or do anything, because I feel like he knew that he was wrong. And it was happened so much that I was just so frustrated, and I felt so let down. It wasn't even the fact of the monetary value. It was just the brokenness of the relationship that, you could have asked me for. And that's what I was saying to him. Like, why would you even feel like you would need to take anything from me? I willingly have always given to you, and I will continue to do so even after this. But it's not okay for you to take things that belong to me or belong to my husband, our household. You're putting me in a situation with him because he's wanting me to pick between you and him. And I think that was more so where and I don't condone violence at any point, but that day I did. But the reason why was because I felt so powerless in the situation, and because I was being forced to choose between the relationship with the family member and my husband at the time. My husband was wanting me to do some things that I should do, and I just wasn't ready at that time to make that type of decision. And so it's frustrating when you have that. And it's like I said, when people take things from you, they take things out of your relationship. They deplete things, things that you cannot get back. And to this day, I love this family member with everything that I have, and I will always give to him anything that I have the ability to give. But the trust never has been restored because he's just continued to make bad decisions and to take things that do not belong to him. And so it just creates a situation where you can't even put trust into the thing anymore. You can't put the amount that it should be there, that you would like to be there, because the person that shows themselves not worthy of trust in that respect.
Yes, and I understand the need to express your pain physically. And it sometimes you're taken there, and I don't condone violence either. I absolutely don't, but I do understand feeling so full and so hurt that you just need to inflict pain on somebody else or on yourself, because sometimes we'll self-harm, even if it's on a subconscious level, in order to just be able to express that pain that you feel. So thank you for sharing. Thank you.
Could you pause it? Because my computer's about to die.
3.
Yes. Well, I wouldn't say that this person was close to me, but it was a guy that I had been friends with that wanted to take our relationship to another level. So this is a person that I had over in my house before. We'd gone out different places. And when he decided that he wanted to broach the situation and do a little bit more, I'm like, okay, come on, come through, come holler at me, come hang out. So we hanging out, and I was comfortable. So I had a set of rings that I had been given throughout high school from my favorite aunt. And I had them on top of my entertainment center in my bedroom. And he had seen them before. He had made comments about my rings. But people say stuff, you don't really think anything. So I had him come over one night, and we having a good time, and we hanging out. And he's like, can I use your bathroom? And the way my house was set up, there was 2 ways to get to my bathroom. You can either go through my room or go through my kitchen. And I was like, yeah, just go through my room. Like, we were cool enough that I was willing to let him walk through my room to get to the bathroom. And so he goes, comes back, the night go on, he leaves. And I'm on my way to the bathroom, and I'm like, where's my ring? I know I left my rings right here. So I tear my room apart, because I'm like, I knew in my head that I had left them there. But I couldn't process that this person, whom I had been friends with for a number of years before there were any talk of dating or anything, no, he wouldn't do that. He wouldn't do that. And it just so happened that 2 days later, another good friend of mine that knew us both was like, I seen no boy with your rings. Like, I said, you said what? You wait, what? I seen no boy with your rings. He was passing it to another chick, like, yo, here. So not only did you steal from me, but you stole from me to give it to somebody else. Now, at that, in my former life, I condoned all the violence possible. Now, I ain't like that now, most of the time. But back then, I was all about that smoke.
Yeah.
So I was like, do. Hey, I'm making dinner. Why don't you come on over? Come on over. I got what you want. I'll make your favorite.
Right.
He came on over, and I had a few friends of mine.
Couple of buddies.
Just a couple, you know. And I was like, could you handle that? Like, I even put the plate down for him, so he had his back. You know. Anyway.
But we want to implicate. I said, this is hypothetically, that's what you would have did.
You know, if it had happened, like, allegedly.
You would have been like, this what I would have did, like in that. Right.
I had, you know, to do that. But unfortunately, I didn't. I got 2 of the rings back.
Oh, okay.
But the other one I did not get back. And the other one that I didn't get back was the one that meant the most to me. So it was just like, it was such a, I can't believe it's not butter. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just can't believe that somebody that, and I'm talking about, I would have never guessed it was him. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, even when I was tearing my room apart, I came up with all these excuses in my own head, like, well, maybe I had dropped it, or knowing that I had left these rings where I left these rings, but just didn't want to believe that type of violation. Like, I've invited you into my home. You talking about you like, so then I got to question everything. Like, was your intentions, which I think is even more of a violation than actually being taken from.
Yeah.
When what I thought about you as a person is not really what you are as a person. Because then I'm thinking about, like, maybe I'm not that good of a judge of character. Maybe I'm, you know, you got you messing with your own head. Like, I thought I had the real good radar on jerk faces. Mm-hmm. Maybe I don't have the jerk face radar I thought I did.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my little ditty.
I'm sorry for you, and I'm sorry for him.
Clothes.
Child.
School's clothes.
Yeah. That
mask on. Couldn't see it because you couldn't see it. He had that mask on.
And when I tell you, it's like, you know, it's something different when you meet a person and you've only known them for a short period. You know, then everything is, but I've known you for years.
And you do
like,
that.
For years. Mm-hmm. And then you come talking to me to be like, hey, what's good? So was you just what's good and so you can get my ring for another broad? Like.
Right. Like okay.
Yeah.
One thing, thank you for sharing. One thing that comes to my mind when I hear all of our experiences is the fact that people who violate us for such small things, you're willing to risk our relationship for such a small thing. It's like, what did I ever mean to you in the first place if you're willing to risk everything that we have for this $20 or this $3,000 or these $5,000 or my rings or my car? Like, what did I ever mean to you that something materialistic, right, could come in between us? Now, since I do work with substance abuse patients, clients, I do understand that their reasoning capabilities are highly affected from the drugs and alcohol. You're not dealing with the person, you're dealing with the addiction. And while I don't, in any way, I'm not excusing that behavior, but I'm just saying I do understand the fact that they can't control it because they just try not to be sick. And so in them trying not to be sick, they're just trying to do whatever it takes, and self-preservation kicks in, and whoever's affected or left in the wake of that hurricane, you just gonna get the residual of that, right? So that's a violation as well, and I'm not minimizing your pain and what you've been through, but I do understand both sides of the coin. I don't want to be on either side of that coin. You understand? I don't want to be in a drawer with that money. So I do understand that. But I don't even know. Okay, don't be laughing at me, Doobie. But absolutely, Ladies, I thank you so much for being here. Before we go and close out, I have one more story, and then I want you to talk about your businesses, and then we're going to wrap up, okay? Chapter 3 covered my knack for making bad decisions. But I made my decisions, and I always discussed them with my dad. And as an adult, I learned that I talked to him about some very inappropriate things that I would cringe if my children told me, but he made me feel so comfortable that I was telling him stuff as a 16, 17, 18-year-old that I would die if my kids told me. However, I want to have that relationship, so I've been through it with AJ, and I got my just due in return, okay? Well, I remember I used to complain about how unfair God was for expecting me to be good and expecting me to not do all these fun things when it was fun to me. He shouldn't have made it fun for me, right? These are conversations I would have with my dad. And I would say that God would be tempting me and it was too hard for me to be good. And I just don't understand why he can't just turn the switch off. If he want me to be saved, he need to do something to turn the switch off and take away my free will. Because if I have my free will, I'm finna do A, B, C, D, right? But I would name the things. I would name all the things. And it was very inappropriate. Well, my dad would use the same Bible verse every time. And he would say, there hath no temptation taken you but such is common to man. But God is faithful, who will not suffer you to be tempted above that ye are able, but with the temptation also make a way of escape that ye may be able to bear it. And that is from 1 Corinthians 10:13. And he would let me know, no matter what situation you find yourself in, hun, because he would call me hun, God has given you a way of escape. And I would sit back and I would think about all of the situations that I found myself in, that I put myself in, right? I'm not talking about the violations that happen. Even some of those violations, I put myself in those positions, to be honest. But when I thought about all of the things that I had done and I had been through, he was absolutely correct. God has always provided a way of escape. Like there will always be a way that I could get out of doing that bad thing, but I just needed to want to get out of doing that bad thing. So what lessons is it that your parents taught you that you found absolutely irrational when you were younger, but as a parent, you get it now?
So my dad used to always say to me, tell the truth, even if it hurts somebody. Mm-hmm. If they may not like you, they may not like the truth, but they'll respect you. And I was very much that I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. I don't want to, how do I say the truth when it's going to make people mad at me? You know, I had a situation, I had a household growing up like that was very much be seen and not heard. I don't care about your opinion. You know what I mean? So I grew up being like, I can't say these things. And I have found in my adult life, and I tell my children all the time, tell the truth, set your soul free. Mm-hmm. Tell the truth to set your soul free. Ain't no point in lying about it. And I do have filters for people that I care about. Mm-hmm. But when it comes to people that I don't necessarily personally know, I just hear my Father's voice in my head. They may not like it. It may hurt their feelings, but they gonna respect you, and you can't deny the truth. Mm-hmm. And so that's the thing for me. It's like, at all costs, you gonna get the truth from me.
That's it. Good, bad, or indifferent, you gonna get it. That's it. You sure telling the truth about that, child. Listen. Yes.
I mean, I don't mean to be harsh, and I'll try to like disclaimer it. Mm-hmm. So I need to tell you something. I ain't trying to hurt your feelings, but this is what it is, because
that's it. And at the end of the day, you have to respect that. Like, you have to respect it. So, yep. Thank you. Yes.
I would have to say that too. I would have to say be truthful, but I think she was talking about more to her, because my mom taught me. I was a very outspoken child growing up into a certain age. I told everything. You ask, I'm gonna tell it, you know, and she was like, don't be telling what's going on in my house, you know. So when people ask me, I'm like, now I got to think of something, you know, now I got to lie. Hell, I've even lied for her, you know. So, I mean, we tell our kids that we want them to be honest, but then we are lying to them. So I always tell my niece, and I've told her this for years, be honest. If it's good, if it hurts whoever, even if it hurts you, even if you're going to be the one to get in trouble, be honest, because they know if anything go down, they can come to you and you're going to be honest with them. You know, it won't be no, well, she did lie, you know, whatever. And so she was like, so she don't get it. You know, she don't get it. And that's one of the qualities that I love about my sister, is that she's honest with you. Now, if she don't want you to know something, she's going to divert to another topic, you know, whatever. But I would say, to be honest, yeah, that was, to be honest and to be kind to people. Always feed people. You don't necessarily have to give people money, but if you see somebody in need, it's nothing for you to feed them, because we have plenty of food. You know, and just to be kind to people, because you never know what people are going through. You know, just a smile or a kind word goes a long way. You know, but my mom was always giving me nuggets about relationships or the boys. It wasn't so much as life, because I guess she knew I was going to be okay in that area. But the relationships, like, boys are going to be here forever, like I mentioned in the other other session. And so, and she said, but just think, you know, now you're older, the boys are now men, you know. And I'm like, oh, you're right. But, you know, you don't know that growing up, because you think that this love of your life right here, he is the be all to all of them, you know, not knowing that you're going to meet plenty other ones, you know. So I would say that, I mean, she was always throwing me some nuggets of knowledge. So, and she still does. She still does to this day.
Yeah, I love that about your mom too. Thank you. Yes. Oh.
I guess I got some things that really impacted me from both my parents. My mother really impressed upon me to treat people the same way that I want to be treated. So I treat everyone, you know, from children to older people, the same way that I would want someone to treat my child, treat me as a child, treat my mother, grandmother, things of that nature. And I want to say, just as I think my father's lesson kind of stuck with me, you know, resonated with me in a different way. Just being abused, sometimes you just really lose the ability to have your voice. I'm very comfortable with telling people I love you, or I appreciate this, or I admire their things. If they're good, I have no problem saying those things. It's harder for me to say to a person, I don't like this, or no, or stop that. You know, it's harder for me to do that. And my father, before he died, he was really trying to tell me, well, Chanel, you can say what you want to. You don't have to necessarily agree with it, but you have a right to say what you want to. And I picked that thing up and I used it in a way that my mother didn't necessarily appreciate it. She felt like I was too opinionated and wanted to give you all my little ins and outs and things. But over the years, I've grown so much, and it's allowed me to be able to advocate for myself and for my children, my loved ones, those who I come in contact with. It helped me to be able to put myself in a position to be able to go hard for me. And I think that's something that really dealt with me in a different way, because a lot of times when you don't feel protected, and it's not because parents don't want to or don't try to, a lot of times when you're being abused, it's a person who's abusing a situation or relationship of trust. So it's allowed me to be able to now articulate those things that I want or that I don't want in such a way where I can both be respectful to a person, but at the same time, I can let you know when it's time for me to let you know. So I'm thankful for that. Otherwise, I just would have felt like I would have continued my life on me.
I love, very well articulated, all of you ladies. I understand, that just resonated to my whole soul. The fact that you said when you're abused, you do lose your voice when you're abused, and you have the capability to praise someone, right? Because that's what we're expected to do. And we're so used to, spewing the good, but when it comes to those boundaries or saying we don't like it, it is more difficult to express those things. So that's a very valid point that I absolutely understand. Thank you for sharing. Before we close out, I want to know more about your businesses, ladies. Newbie, I see you have some pieces behind you, and I see, Chanel, that you talked about your writing earlier. Which one of you want to start with telling us about your business? Not everybody at the same time. I'll start. Newbie. So,
Okay, I can go really quick.
You want to go first?
I'll let Newbie call this out. Because Newbie got a whole thing.
She does have a thing. She has
So,
a whole
really quick.
thing.
Yes, and actually should.
Yes.
So, real quickly, just Ink. Again, my writings. Just go to Facebook. Find me on Facebook. CC's Ink. CECIINK on Facebook, and look for me this year. And I'm so amazed at Nubian's artistic talents. I'm saying this girl is everything. I better check my girl out.
Yes, and I'm just gonna write this down, and that's CECI apostrophe SINK. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so Nubian has her own clothing line as well. This is actually a painting that she drew, or she painted, and she put the print on the shirt, and it's absolutely beautiful. And the quality of the shirt is very soft, and it's very comfortable. So it's worth every single penny. I absolutely love it. And it's very unique, and you can't find this anywhere. This is something that she created out of her brain cells, right? And I just think it's lovely. So if you want to share some more, I also have some other stuff to share, but I'm gonna let you share your own stuff, and then I'm gonna finish.
Okay, so like I said, I'm an artist, I'm a creative. This is actually